Welcome to Kagurabachi Volume 2 review. Alright, this shit is crazy right here. This, oh my god. If you just want to hear like what I think about it like straight out, this volume is like 5 out of 5. First one was like 4 out of 5. This is 5 out of 5. It has everything. The damn action, the backstory, like the damn violence, everything's cool, right? Really quick before like we get started into this review, this volume was actually like really hard to get. I went to like my local like Japanese like store. Hold on, Kinokuya, and they were sold out. Anime Jungle was sold out. Basically, like all places were sold out. I had to get this like at Barnes and Nobles, and even then there was only like 2 copies. So it shows you like how popular this series is. All right, man, since we already got all the characters like introductions out of the way, this review should be a lot smoother and a lot faster, because we open up with Mr. Shiba and what's his name, Azami, the emo dude. They're basically just chit-chatting about how Chihiro, Genji, Sojo are gonna duke it out in the city, and that's gonna give a bad image to like Chihiro's dad, you know, because like the swords were used to stop a war, and like if they duke it out in the city, it's gonna give like a bad impression to like Chihiro's dad's like legacy, right? Dude, this shit's crazy. Like we fucking leave, or we start off with like them about to face each other inside the little information store or whatever, wherever they were hiding in the last volume. Dude, they fucking duke it out in the middle of the street, right? So they're like duking it out, and like what's his name, Sojo is using the fucking cloud gouger blade, right? So like as they start duking it out, Hinao, which is like the emo punk girl, she takes Char so they can like sneak out through the back while like Chihiro and Sojo are duking it out. Now, dude, like, okay, like Chihiro like sees that Sojo is actually very skillful, dude. Like he's actually like learning as they fight. I'm not gonna like go too much into detail into the fight because it's actually really well drawn. And like it's something that like you guys should like actually like read it, like just to see the fight itself. And I'm very excited like when it gets animated. So like the main points to take away from this fight is that like they get Char out of the way. Sojo is a really skillful fighter. He's learning as he's fighting, and you find out that he has like this complex like idea of Chihiro's dad, because that fool, he kind of looks up to Chihiro's dad because of the enchanted blades. In his mind, he thinks that those blades were meant for evil, right? Like to kill people, mass destruction, right? And he wants to prove a point by actually like slaughtering all the civilians. But Chihiro actually fucking does the fucking, he does the best thing ever, and fucking like, since the cloud gauger can like unleash electricity, he actually uses his sword as a lightning rod to actually all that electricity that was gonna hit like the civilians and kill everybody gets absorbed into him, and he gets all the fucking blowout damage. It's crazy. Now Sojo and Chihiro have this conversation where like from Chihiro's side, his dad's swords weren't made like, he thinks that his dad's swords aren't made for like to slay people, right? And on Sojo's side, he 100% believes that like the swords were meant for mass destruction, which is like good versus evil, right? So it's then like Sojo ticks off Chihiro, and basically Chihiro reveals that like, hey dude, those are my dad's blades. So Chihiro says that like the swords were meant to protect the weak, right? And like Sojo thinks that they're meant for slaying the weak. And that's when he gets all butthurt and he's all like, don't talk about my father like that, right? Sojo basically goes like, father, like what the heck? And that's when like basically like the freaking Soul Society guys like from Bleach show up. Well, they're not really Soul Society, but like they're very close to the Soul Society people. They even dress like them. It's crazy. They stop in and they like basically stop Sojo, right? Because at this point Chihiro's already beat up from absorbing like that thunderbolt attack. So this Soul Society looking dudes, like they're called the Kamunabi, and this is like one squad from like a bigger society, right? So I guess they were tasked to like stop the fight and capture. I want to say Gojo, but it's Sojo. Thinking of Jujutsu Kaisen here, and that's when Mr. Shiba and what's his face, the emo dude, Azami, show up, and that's when Sojo like basically he just like scrams because he goes like, dude, these guys are like too much for me right now. I'm already weakened, and like I guess Mr. Shiba and the other dude are actually like a lot more powerful than I originally thought. So that's when I guess it's revealed that the car that's getting away with Char, all Chihiro sees is Char's foot like sticking out, right? And then like he just like barges like in there. Like it's pretty intense because like they show that the foot was actually like cut off. It's just Char's leg, the little girl's leg. It's just like there, and Chihiro just like goes bananas and like he charges into the car. And keep in mind he's already fucking weak. And then like Chihiro, using that main protagonist like energy, just fucking rushes in, cuts everybody's heads off except I think the driver. He leaves them like a knife point, right? And it's like straight out of the fucking Batman, the shot here. Look at this shit. Look at that shit. Something in my ass. Look, yeah, well, that, right? So he basically gets information out of the guy like that he fucking kept alive, and he's like, my father's sword. And then like he thinks of Char, and then he just like faints, right? And then in the next scene, we just see that Char has the ability to regenerate, which at first when I was reading this, like the first volume, I thought that she was gonna be like royalty or something, but they actually want her for her regenerative properties, right? They wanna like extract the cells off of her. Yeah, so there's a reason why they wanna like extract like the regenerative cells off of her. It's because like the enemy has like the stone that they're able to do like the enchanted swords with, right? So that stone that they have is called Datenseki, right? And that stone, like you're able to do enchanted swords with. But the problem is that like Chihiro's dad was the only one that could actually like balance the stone, because I guess it uses like some of your spirit energy and it's able to corrupt you and basically blow you up, right? So Chihiro's dad was the only one that was able to make enchanted swords out of it. So I think what they're trying to do here is that like they want to use the girl's like regenerative like cells in order to like make enchanted weapons, because we see like in this volume that if it's not stable, like it blows the shit out of you, so you insta die. And with the girl, since she's able to regenerate, like I think the plan is that like they'll be able to control the stone's energy and like make more weapons out of it. What's his face? Chihiro wakes up in the hospital because he's knocked out after like taking that serious thunderbolt. He's damaged, he's beat up, he's been knocked out for like 5 days, and like Mr. Shiba's explaining all that stuff to him, right? That they need the girl, and that the emo girl from earlier, he now is actually okay. And that's when like Chihiro finds out that like the girl can regenerate, right? And then that's when Mr. Azami is all like, oh dude, before you take action, right? I want to introduce you to like the Soul Society dude. Yeah, the Kamaunabi show up, and like they're basically just there for you to like get a feel of what this like, I guess like this society is able to do and stuff like and they're actually like working with Mr. Azami. So that's why Azami wants like Chihiro to like meet them, and they strategize about how to take down Sojo, and like they're all really quirky and shit, and like I don't know, like I'll get to it right now. Look, they strategize with Chihiro on how to take out Sojo because he has the Cloud Gouger, right? And since he already experienced like how to like fight with it, and freaking like he's the son of the guy that made him, he gives them a strategy on how to take it down. And like this group basically tells Chihiro, look, like we can't have you like involved, but we know that you're gonna go after Sojo because you want to rescue the girl, right? So I guess we'll kill Sojo and you go rescue the girl. And that's the agreement they come up on. And basically Chihiro just tells them, look, The best way to take this dude down is to let him hit you, because he's able to like unleash like the sword's power, and it takes about like 10 seconds to regenerate, and that's when you guys should attack it. That's the basic like format of the battle, right? And real quick, because I'm leaving like some parts out, like so you won't get like too spoiled, right? But there's this part where Chihiro infiltrates like the enemy like area because he's looking for the girl, and he kills everybody, right? Except this one dude. And like basically he's interrogating that dude, and he gets a phone call, and he picks it up, and he's all like, dude, like, I'm so bored. This is so boring, like guarding like, you know, like this place. Like, I want to do something, right? And he's just like, yeah, let me get back to you on that, right? And he hangs up, and it's just Chihiro with everybody slaughtered except that one dude, and he's interrogating him, and he's just like, no talk. All right, just to keep it like a little bit more simplistic, I'm gonna call like the Soul Society dudes like the elite until I memorize their name. But yeah, so I guess like real quick too, before the war or during the war, like there was no sorcerers, or at least they were hiding. But after the war, they started to pop up, right? And these elite people are basically like the police that like govern the area, and that's why what's his face Sojo wants like to fight them just to test out the sword's capabilities, because he can't accept the fact that like that Chihiro is Kanushige's son. He just doesn't want to accept it because it interferes with his beliefs, because his beliefs are like that those swords were meant like to kill people. And he like studied the man. He wanted to like he read everything on it, and I guess there was no records that he had a son. So to the public, Chihiro doesn't exist. There was never any information like about what's his face Kunishige after the war. So he lived a very private life, and like Sojo doesn't want to believe that he has a son, and he doesn't want to believe that like those swords were meant to protect people, not kill them. And this is what leads up to he just slaughters like some henchmen, and it leads for like the elite police to come in through, right? And dude, okay, so there's this one girl that I guess can control ice in the elite. She kind of looks like Chihiro if he was a girl. And like these elite people, they start like forming this ice platform. This is where it gets crazy, man. It gets fucking crazy. They literally make a platform right out of ice, and they lift it into the sky. So you get a shot of like all the elite members and like Sojo, and like just a plain view of the city on the floor, like in the distance. And they duke it out, right? So that's where we leave off with the damn elite versus Sojo, because we get a flashback of Chihiro just basically saying like, dude, look. So the swords have like their own special ability, right? But they can also change depending on the user's will and like I guess like thoughts, right? So maybe like they could be more stronger, or it just depends on the elements of the sword, but they can actually change depending on the wielder, like almost like if they have like free will. So as like Chihiro scouting out like the area to find Char, some dude just is able to pick up on his bloody scent, because he's like he's actually still pretty beat up. So technically he still can't fight for like a couple months, right? And he goes in there just like you know, fully wounded. And Mr. Shiba tells him, dude, look, just avoid fighting them and just get Chihiro, right? But you know, I mean Chihiro, Char, but you know Chihiro, he like it just doesn't work out for him. So like they start fucking beating the shit out of him, right? And in desperation, he cracks like one of the lights, and the room goes dark, and I guess they light up the place again, and he's gone. But the guy goes like, no, I could still smell his bloody ass, so like he's still in the area. So Chihiro's taking like a little pause, a little break, because he can't use his left hand because of what happened earlier with the fight with Sojo. Like it really messed him up. And like he thinks he's done for. He has a sweet like flashback of his dad. It explains like I guess the sword's powers. It says Kuro long range attacks, Aka absorbing, and Nishiki cloaking, right? Dude, so this shot is like fucking cool, dude. I can't wait till they animate this. So he uses the Kuro sword, and like all these goldfish start popping around the enemy, and then like it says shred. So what it's gonna happen is that like he uses a lot of his like spirit energy instead of his physical energy in order to like actually like manifest himself and like kill everybody really quick. But it burns out his spirit side, not his physical side. But it's at the end he says it's kind of the same. Now to keep this part like really short, because I think if you're gonna read this, it's better if you experience it yourself. As like he's shredding everybody apart, there's also the backstory of Char happening. And it's basically like where like the mom like wants to live a normal life. She has like Char and she gets kidnapped because they both possess like the healing factor, right? And so as like he's slicing his way through the enemies, like she's like kind of panicking and all these emotions are going through we find out that her mom helped her escape, and I'm assuming her mom gets killed even though she could regenerate. They don't really specifically say how they kill her mom, or they even say if she dies. As Chihiro is getting closer to Char, the flashbacks are getting more intense. We see how Sojo was involved. We see how she was tortured, and like leading up to her grand escape. And as soon as like she's remembering when she ran away, Chihiro finally bursts through the room with a sandwich, and he's just like, oh, like I know you're hungry. And like you just see Char bawling her eyes out, like going like, Chihiro, you're fucking late, dude. Yeah, so this girl went through a lot as he was trying to get to her. So it's intense, dude. As we get, dude, we're all right. It's only like this much left, right? Dude, this is like the best and the most intense part, because Char like regenerates Chihiro's like broken arm, and he's able to use like his body at full percent again. So Chihiro's backing up again. He's ready to fight. So we come back to like the elite versus Sojo, and like they're basically following Chihiro's like commands of like, hey, let yourself get striked. Once you get striked, you're able to like basically free attack him, right? This fucking battle was amazing. I don't know how they're gonna animate this, but it's gonna look great when it comes into animation, right? So the heroes like get the upper hand, right? And like they basically like corner Sojo, and then Sojo taps into like the blade's power, because like the whole point of this is that there's two sides to this, right? You got the good side and the bad side, and it like Chihiro within himself, he believes that these swords were meant to protect people, right? So with that in mind, his the Cloud Gouger actually accepts Sojo, like his ideals, like his way of thinking, his beliefs, right? And with that, like like how Chihiro says, like it basically like a sword can do like whatever the sword is able to do, but like it also like manifests a new thing that whatever the wielder's using. So he instantly changes the fight and he slaughters the captain, the guy with the glasses. He completely like slaughters him, and then like the dude with the mask, he like blows a hole through like right here, and like he just starts slaughtering the whole elite team, right? And these are supposed to be elite members. He fucking annihilates everybody. He like cuts some dude's arm off, and like I think only like one of the guys is left, because like after the battle, I guess he realizes that like that he's back to 100%. So he slaughters the whole elite team, and like the whole platform just falls into the ocean, and there's only like one survivor with his hand cut off. And he's like, oh, like dude, like I don't want to do this anymore. Like those swords shouldn't exist anymore. That's the last we see of them. Everybody's completely annihilated. Sojo like completely like flips their plan around, and he goes and runs off to meet Chihiro. And then we get to the final fight. Chihiro versus Sojo. This fight was very good. Like I'm talking about like very fucking well planned. So the fight actually says like it only lasted a couple minutes, but as we start off the fight, so you see them like duking it out outside the castle or whatever. But they're like sitting down, like the next panel is them sitting out eating sweets, and they're talking about like their beliefs, about how like Sojo believes that the swords are meant like for like killing people, and that he accepts that like Chihiro's actually what's his name, Kunishige's son. And like that's when like Chihiro goes like, dude, like the swords are meant to protect people. But then like he realizes that like the sword actually chose Sojo's beliefs, which actually opened up Chihiro's mind a little more about like these enchanted swords. But as they're talking, like the minutes go by, and then they show the fight, and then they go back to talking, and then they show the fight. So like they're basically like having a conversation, but throughout this conversation they're duking it out. As like Sojo is like understanding the sword more, he's actually gonna like land a lethal blow like onto Chihiro, but Chihiro like sacrifices his arm, so he gets his arm sliced off. It's intense. It was crazy. But thanks to that sacrifice that Chihiro made by like sacrificing his arm, he's able to actually like tap into his own sword and like just break the Cloud Gouger and like land a lethal blow to Sojo, right? And that's when like Mr. Shiba like pops in and like he goes he gets Chihiro. Sojo is like dying because he's trying to get, like after he gets beaten, he crawls all the way to where like one of the stones are at, like the stones that make the weapon, and he tries to grab it, but he blows up because like he just can't control it. And Chihiro just tell him like, you'll never be as equal as my father. And with that freaking explosion, Sojo's out of the manga. He's not coming back. Well, at least I think, right? Dude, that whole battle was intense. It was crazy. It was great. It was like, the drawings were good. The way it was set up, it was good. Like as they were chatting, like it would go from chatting to the action and then chatting to the action. It was very sophisticated. And then we find out that Azami, basically, he's like part of that one elite society. He's basically like, it's like the Soul Society, dude. Like, but like, and then they have different teams within those. And like he meets up with like one of the guys that survived the Sojo attack. So Azami has been secretly like knowing about Chihiro's existence, because to this group of people, they don't know that the guy that made the swords has a son. They don't know Chihiro exists besides Asami. And then like, so like the group that actually met Chihiro were Azami actually trusted. So the only survivor of that group tells him like, look, I don't want anything to do with this anymore. Like those swords shouldn't exist. And I'm not gonna tell like our leader that you know Chihiro exists. And then that's when we find out that the leader of that group is just like, look, there's a seventh sword out there that none of us knew about, right? And that's like one of the things that I was like talking about in the first book, that there were 6 swords, so the sword Chihiro has must have been a 7th sword. So what this group wants to do is basically hunt down the 7th sword, hunt down the other 6th sword, and hunt down Chihiro. And they basically, it leaves off with them sending their best, I guess like fucking Soul Society Reaper or whatever they're called. His name is Hiyuki. And then it says, they're calling for you. You've been granted permission to go. So yeah, that's how it's gonna leave off. Chihiro's going to be hunted down, and they were able to recover Char. They destroy the Cloud Gouger, and we'll see where it goes from there. So overall, Volume 2, fucking great, dude. It's better than Volume 1, and if it keeps this pace up, holy fuck, dude, I can't wait. So Kagurabachi Volume 2, 5 out of 5. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.